Hi. All right, would you guys check out this shirt? Mountain Burrito. Yeah. It's a pretty cool shirt, I have to say, especially for a local restaurant. Good job, Mountain Burrito. Dang, Huck. But that is not what we're here about today. From a friend of ours, we got to borrow an e-bike. This was like the first time, there I go again with the, this was like the first time that I've ever gotten to truly ride an e-bike in earnest. I mean, we've pedaled them around the bike shop, but I've never really tested one out to the full extent. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Trance X 29E in a large. So basically the way this video is gonna work, I'm gonna give you a rundown of the bicycle that we got. It is a 2021 model, so it is a current model. The motor is by Yamaha. And then after that, we are actually going to hit the trail. So the bicycle that we have in our possession is the Trance X E Plus 29er 1. Jesus, Giant. Let's get to the bike shop. Let's go over this bike and let's take it for a spin. And this bike retails at $58.50. That is completely normal for the specs of this bike. Let's go over them. The motor on this puppy is the Giant Sync Drive Pro, which is essentially made by Yamaha. It's an 80 Newton meter motor, pedal assist up to 20 miles an hour. Basically what this pedal assist up to 20 mile an hour means is it has a governor. So right at 20 mph, it just shuts off and it is just you pedaling the bike. It doesn't just like completely drop off. It is a little progressive, but we'll get into kind of how the motor feels later on when we get to ride the bike. And the battery pack is the Energy Pack Smart from Giant. This is a Lux SL grade aluminum frame from Giant. It's pretty nice. And it does have the composite upper rocker that the modern Maestro bikes are coming with. It is a 140 mil suspension on the rear. The fork on this puppy is the Fox 36 Float Performance Elite. It is 150 millimeters of travel. Got the Fit 4 damper in it. It is a boost fork, obviously, and it is E-optimized. The rear shock is the Fox Float DPX2 Performance Evol large volume sleeve 3-position lever trunnion mount shock. The shock setup on this bike is appropriate for the price point. Both are super nice suspension on this puppy. And then whenever you look at the cockpit, pretty decent stuff. It's the Contact SL, not carbon, but it is super nice. I'm not even sure if I'd want carbon handlebars on an e-bike. It's an e-bike. All of the drivetrain is gonna be Dior XT, which is super nice. Also love that this is a complete XT bike. So we're talking shifters, derailleurs, and the brakes. And one thing that I do love on this bike is the 4-piston Shimano Dior brakes. So Shimano Dior XT, sorry, brakes. And they do have like 203 rotors. So the brakes on this thing are very appropriate for a bike that weighs in the 40s. I think this thing weighs like 48 pounds or something when we tested that out. But the brakes work great. And it does have a Praxis crankset on it. The wheels are e-bike specific wheels. They are tubeless ready. They have a 30 millimeter inner rim width. They seem super beefy, super sturdy. And atop these rims are the Maxxis Asage 29 by 2.6s. See, the front also comes with the dissector 2.6 as well. The 2.6 tires on a bike this big makes this bike feel like you can just monster truck everything, and it's awesome. Oh yeah, and my bad, the rear derailleur is actually an XTR. Shifters are XT, shifter is XT. So yeah, there you go, that's good. A little upgrade there that I forgot about. So that is the complete spec of this bike. For the price point, it is appropriate. There is no expense spared here. It's coming top of the line unless you really wanted to get like just that little extra that you can get by going XTR everywhere. I wanted to make this video as lifelike as possible. What I mean by that is one of my best friends, John here, who is an amazing mountain bike rider. He is what I would consider your everyday mountain biker. So when he's in a good riding habit and he's riding a lot, he's getting in 1 to 2 times a week. I really wanted to see how an e-bike would work for someone that knows how to ride a bike, but doesn't necessarily have the same legs that somebody like me would have. Not that I'm strong whatsoever. Does that e-bike bridge the gap between the two? That's my objective with a video of this stature. Let's get to the trail. Let's jump in with John. And yeah, let's test this sexy beast out. So another thing to keep in mind is that John has never ridden an e-bike, much less this e-bike. So the first thing we did was get him a little bit comfortable with how the thing handles and how it operates. First things first, this thing does have 5 power modes that you can choose from. Each one essentially adds a certain amount of wattage to what you are putting out, and then it also has a progressive mode that kind of changes the wattage it outputs on the fly based on how you are pedaling at that time.
Okay. Oh my God. It's like I just have to like touch the gears. Oh. Dude, holy.
The first test that I really wanted to do was to see how well John could keep up on a climb. Now this particular little hill has some switchbacks which I thought might even out the playing field. Also, keep in mind that I did push the pace on this climb. Normally, I'd have to wait for John up at the top.
You got like 3 feet of air that time.
So he went into it in the progressive mode, and as you can see and hear, he wasn't actually that far behind. And his breathing was a little labored, which I think is a huge benefit. If this was a straight power line style climb, just like straight up, super steep with no turns, I'm positive that he would have been right on my tail, but the addition of the switchbacks kind of played in my favor. And what I mean by I'm glad he was laboring in the progressive mode, like I think he said that his heart rate at the top of this hill was like 140. That's pretty cool in my opinion because he kept up with me essentially, but he was still winded. I was winded at the top as well, so it's definitely bridging the gap.
It rolled a couple of those smooth like creek stones, but that was it. Oh yeah, monster truck, monster truck.
Once we hit the descent, I did push the pace just a little bit just to see what kind of gap I could get on him. Then at the bottom of this hill, we do a little U-turn, and it is a much more straight up power style climb with a few little roots. And on this hill, John was much closer on my heels.
I'm coming, like the Terminator. It might be a robot, but I'm coming.
So after we did a couple of the little climbs here, we continued to ride at a decent pace. I wouldn't say we were racing each other by any means. Normally on my training rides, I have to just do them by myself. This kind of bridges the gap, and I can definitely see the benefit in something like this.
Dude, it's awesome, man. It's a little clunky, like knowing how much power you need to get your corner in so you're not overshooting every line that you want. But oh, he's crazy. He's crazy. Yeah, that line sucks.
one full lap of me riding at a decent click. Let's see what John has to think about this e-bike.
Night and day, man. Night and freaking day.
Now, what'd you have it on for most? Because that was like one full lap.
Okay. So, whenever I climbed the hill the first time, I had it in progressive. Climbed that hill the second time, I had it all the way up. Definitely, it overshoots every line you want to take in the turn. So it's like, oh yeah.
I assumed that would happen.
And then I left it all the way up for that little downhill portion in the back, and it was too much, man. Like anytime that I would change my which pedal was up to go into a turn, it'd be like, definitely all riding all the way up. It feels amazing, but your handling has to like go ridiculous. Like
you gotta manhandle it.
Yeah, well, it's beyond my ability handling wise.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best argument right there is it makes you ride above your ability. You know, on a non-e-bike, you know, you're almost track standing and you're putting a lot of torque at it. Yeah. I'm sure this thing's seeing that same, you know, it needs that much torque to get over it, but the back wheel never slipped. I don't know if that's because of the tires or if the motor actually just puts a little bit more power to keep that rear wheel from spinning.
Because you just went up that in 5, right?
No, this one was 3.
Okay. Yes,
but that's, I don't know, I could ride it again in 5 and see if it tried to spin. Oh, coming hot. I'm okay. Oh, come on, baby. Yeah.
So it definitely seems that he really enjoyed an e-bike. He said that he still would want his normal bicycle because he also enjoys the challenge of a standard bicycle.
I mean, it is crazy, man. Like,
the weight of the e-bike you really don't notice because of the motor until you get a little airborne, but the power output of the bike also takes a little getting used to. Once you play around with it a bit though, you tend to find a power setting that best suits you and you just leave it on that. I think John said that he preferred it actually in 3 over the progressive mode. The progressive mode is a little odd. I'd have to ride it a month or so before I made a final decision on it, but honestly, I did enjoy the ride more if I just left it on a standard power setting, because at that point, it's literally just adding watts to what you're outputting. It's not changing how much wattage it's gonna output. So in conclusion, after 2 days of testing on this bicycle, would I buy an e-bike? No. And that's why I wanted John, or somebody that doesn't race and ride their bike 6 days a week, to come out and help me test this thing out. In my opinion, if it gets more butts on a bike, I am for it. But what it more or less did was it just made it easier for him to keep up, but he was still breathing heavy at a few points. That's a very, very big positive in my opinion. For what it is, I don't know, man. I would not buy a cross-country e-bike. I would almost want something that's got this much travel, because you don't have to really pedal it around, if you get what I'm saying. You've got a motor to help you pedal it around. I wanted to get this bike out there because I haven't done an e-bike. Like I said, this is more of a first impressions style video, not a full review. I didn't even get into the flip chip. The flip chip is where you can change how the bike actually handles, but I only had this bike for a couple days, so I didn't want to start changing geometry around since it was a borrowed bike. Anyway, guys, if you have any questions about this thing, I can answer them to the best of my ability. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. As always, we are in the process of selling our house and moving, so that's probably going to put a damper on it, but at the very least, I love you guys all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
It would jerk. I just messed up every PR out here.
First, thank you so much for sticking around to the end of the video. I did have something pretty cool happen. I came home and in me mailbox was a gift from the Runner Box. This company is filled with some super cool people. Everyone I've talked to from the Runner Box has been super awesome and super personable. If you do not know what this is, I think they're $30. It is a mystery box for me. I have not opened one. I have never opened one. They do a rider box. From what I could tell, there's a little difference. This is a nice box. This is a very nice box. Also, we are in the process of moving. That's why my house looks entirely empty, and we haven't gotten groceries in a while. So it's a good thing they sent me food so I can eat tonight. That's actually kind of weird, but I'm into weird, so I'm gonna try it. Why not? Which flavor is your favorite? Orange or lemon lime? Peanut butter it is. Yep, peanut butter wins. Holy crap, man. This is amazing for somebody who's just brand new to the sport, or to any endurance sport, really. This does not have to be running or cycling. This can be any endurance sport because this is mainly nutrition. You have some compression sleeves, I get it. You've got this fancy thing here. But if you've never tried any of this stuff, like whenever I first started, I just asked people, I'm like, what do you eat? What do you do? How does it taste? There's a lot of questions involved with that. This is a way that you can actually test stuff out and it not cost a ton. But if, like I said, if you're new to the sport, good day, sir. Like I said, if you're new to the sport, give them a shot if you want to have something that kind of throws it at you all in one box and lets you try stuff out without it being too expensive. I think 30 bucks for a box filled with stuff like this right to your door is worth it, even if you try it just one time. Thank you, Runnerbox, and I will see everyone in the next video. Bye-bye.